I think I'm gonna leave the TV off for the time being. Hello and welcome to Cinema, where we focus on the film. I'm Josh, this is Simply Cinema. Let me know down in the comments below, have you seen Y2K? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Or is it somewhere right in the middle? Make sure to like this video if you enjoyed, subscribe if you haven't already, so we can create a nice discussion and with this community down in the comments below, and getting right into the synopsis. The last night of 1999, two junior high schoolers crash a New Year's Eve party only to find themselves fighting for their lives. Taking it right into a positive, Y2K manages to capture this essence of the era during that time, the bare minimum plus a bit more, what the vibes were, just chilling out. It doesn't do anything extra special, but it is clever with the way it crafts some of its technology, the computer filmmaking, what it goes about with that, and what we get out of Jaden Martell, Rachel Zegler, and Julian Dennison. Those three main roles that really capture the essence of what is all going on with the cast just perform well. We got some great side characters here and there throughout the film that, especially upon the times when the year 2000 hits and the machines start to take over based on the conspiracies that we're led to believe at that time would happen, where the machines all get tacked on by a bug and they start to come to life, kill off humanity. So how that all comes about, it becomes one of the most fun parts of the film, and there, especially within that first party scene house, that's my favorite scene. And then there's other parts here and there that can deliver on the essence of what you're asking for this horror premise when you're just really wanting to dive into something, and it's random within the scenes what you're getting out of the film. It goes about this interesting culture that is very high school. You're getting all the jokes, other things along the way, and there is this special music star cameo that is the cameo person that was around that time, and so you're just getting some of the vibes from the music, other pop culture references or things that happened around that time that manages to have this work for someone. Which takes me into the mix on this. This film can be slow moving. It takes a little bit to get to that party scene to where it hits the year 2000. That is sort of the main purpose of the horror thing, and how that all flows on throughout. Certain things can be coincidental with the nature of how they resolve their issues, how certain things go, and it's random in the events that flow about that isn't always my cup of tea, whether you're really building upon certain chronological events and not necessarily always having a purpose for each and every scene. So that's what can take you back a bit. And of course, this is for a specific era. For me, I'm born in 99, so this is a little bit before I was familiar with all that technology, what was all going on with the chat rooms, other things that were going about scanning music onto CDs. So I'm not totally in tune with the culture that's going about, but it was still informal in the nature of what it was building upon. That's not necessarily a problem with the film itself, but I may not have any nostalgia reference to get understanding what all is going on that time. If you're even someone that's trying to get into the nostalgia for the purpose of watching it for the nostalgia, this isn't necessarily that type of film, but there's certain things coming about the way where things at the last action battle, things can end a little abruptly. It goes on the last second trope of being able to resolve the whole issue, and there were quite a few characters that I feel like I could have asked for a little bit more from the depth of them, how they're exploring, and certain things where I'm kind of mixed on the reaction just with the premise alone. These two guys going to go and crash this New Year's Eve party, and it's sort of in desperation to find themselves a girl, be able to give that New Year's kiss. And there's, of course, Jaden Martell's character looking out for Rachel Zegler. And about the whole film, they still have that connection of a relationship, and it's on a world-ending event, which can make sense to some degree, but at the same time, it feels distracted from the nature of what all is going about when you're having this romance relationship trying to take place in pursuit against this world-ending battle that's all going on at hand just as well. Which takes me right into the negatives, to which some of the dialogue can be very iffy. Certain things here and there just don't make quite as much sense, or at least I don't personally connect with that culture that's set out at hand. And so just a way to work upon this dialogue, certain rapping that can take so much time away from the film, that feels very random and purposely cringe at times, and that just really throws off the whole general essence of what I'm trying to take out of these characters, what I'm trying to learn about them, build upon the story as a whole, and it distracts itself with other things that go about along the way, things that you could have been attached to a lot more with their parents, how things go about, that you find them by the end once all the battle is coming about. And so there's certain things that are set up in a nice manner, but just don't always build up enough to have a great payoff. And that also leads me into saying that the scale of this film, for the premise alone, is very small. When you're tackling this idea that the world is going into shenanigans because the technology is beginning to take over, and you're aware of that based on the premise and what it's showing within the movie, it's only showing it all within this smaller town, which, yes, it's widespread enough that it makes sense, and it's honing in on these certain characters that they want you to follow, they want you to build on, but I didn't get attached to those characters enough to excuse the absence of any worldwide spread appearance of what all is going on within the rest of the world. Obviously, they can't show every single thing, every single character, every single country that's all going about and facing all these different issues, but at the same time, you're looking at this as if it's a small town problem. A power goes out or something along those lines, and everything that they need to do to resolve the issue is done within their own hometown. They can ride everywhere on bikes or walk there, and you're not necessarily getting the essence of the scale of the problem that's really should be a lot more weightier for the essence of what you're getting out of this premise, out of this a problem as a whole. And so certain things, whether the dialogue of the humans, can throw things off because it's a bunch of random scenes put together. It can have relative comparisons to the film Superbad, but just on a cheaper scale that I just don't necessarily get energized by the characters, what you're going about with these scenes, and so how that all works out. But me being a fan of Superbad doesn't necessarily connect with this film as well. Just goes about along the way creating these huge world issues, but limiting it to this small part and having multiple different subplots that can convolute this story along the way. So that's just my personal review for Y2K, which I have to rate a personal 3 out of 10. Let me know down in the comments below what you think of Y2K. Is it good? Is it bad? Or somewhere right in the middle? Let me know all your thoughts so we can join in the discussion down in the comments below. Make sure to like this video if you enjoy it. Subscribe if you haven't already to join in the film culture community where we talk about the love of cinema as a whole. So that's just all, and make sure to do yourself a favor and go watch a movie.